You want to know who attacked your favorite superstar. You want answers. Well, Triple H just gave us the biggest slap in the face in WWE history, and I guarantee you're going to lose your mind when you find out who it was. This wasn't just a reveal, this was a calculated insult to every single person who's been watching Monday Night Raw for the past 3 months. The game just proved that he thinks we're all idiots, and honestly, after what went down, maybe we are for even believing WWE would give us something worth our time. Before we dive into this absolute catastrophe, do me a favor, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell because I need you here when WWE inevitably tries to backtrack on this disaster. We're the only ones keeping it real while everyone else pretends this is acceptable television. Let me set the stage for you. For 12 weeks, WWE has been stringing us along with this mystery attacker storyline. 12 weeks of speculation, theories, late-night forum debates, and YouTube breakdowns. We analyzed every frame, every shadow, every possible suspect. The attack was vicious, brutal, and left one of WWE's top stars on the shelf for nearly 3 months. This wasn't some simple backstage ambush, this was personal, methodical, and sadistic. And who did Triple H reveal as the mastermind behind it all? Dominik Mysterio. I'll give you a second to let that sink in. Dominik Mysterio. The same guy who can barely lace his own boots without Rhea Ripley's help. The same superstar who gets booed because he's supposed to, not because he's actually threatening. The guy whose biggest accomplishment is riding his father's legacy while pretending to rebel against it. This is the monster we were supposed to fear. This is the calculating villain who orchestrated one of the most heinous attacks in recent WWE history. You've got to be kidding me. Triple H stood in that ring on Monday Night Raw with his signature smirk, the entire WWE universe waiting with bated breath, and he pointed to the Titantron. The lights dimmed, the footage rolled, and there he was, Dominik Mysterio, in all his mediocre glory, caught on some conveniently discovered security camera that apparently didn't exist for the past 3 months. Because that makes total sense, right? WWE has cameras everywhere, documenting every sneeze and eyebrow raise, but somehow this crucial footage just magically appeared when it was time for the big reveal. The crowd's reaction said everything you need to know. It wasn't shock. It wasn't gasps of disbelief. It was confusion mixed with disappointment, topped off with a generous helping of, "Are you serious right now?" Even the live audience, the people who cheer for literally anything, couldn't muster genuine enthusiasm for this wet blanket of a revelation. But here's where it gets even more insulting. Triple H, standing there like he just gave us the Mona Lisa of wrestling storylines, had the audacity to act like this was some brilliant, long-term storytelling. He's talking about patience paying off, and the truth finally coming to light, as if we should be grateful for this narrative slop they've been feeding us. Let's talk about the alternatives, shall we? Let's talk about who should have been revealed as the attacker, because clearly, we's creative team needs some help. Option 1. A returning superstar making a statement. Imagine if it had been someone like Bray Wyatt's protege, someone we hadn't seen, carrying on a legacy of psychological warfare. That would have been compelling. That would have made sense. That would have actually justified 3 months of build-up. Option 2. A shocking heel turn from someone we trust. Picture this, a tag team partner, a mentor, someone close to the victim who we never would have suspected. The emotional betrayal, the personal stakes, the drama. That's what we tune in for. The scale is all wrong. The threat level doesn't match the buildup. Think about the attack itself. The victim was ambushed backstage, hit with what looked like a crowbar or lead pipe, and left in a crumpled heap requiring medical attention. The brutality suggested someone with serious rage, serious strength, and serious intent to injure. Does that description scream, Dominik Mysterio, to you? Because it sure doesn't to me or anyone else with functioning brain cells. WWE had 3 months to plant seeds, drop hints, and build toward this moment. And what did they do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing that would make Dominik a logical conclusion to this mystery. There were no backstage segments showing him acting suspicious. No promos where he expressed hatred toward the victim. No character motivation established whatsoever. He was busy doing his thing with the Judgment Day, playing his role as Ray's lapdog and feuding with his family. There was no intersection between his storyline and the attack storyline. Zero. Zilch. Nada. And yet, Triple H expects us to believe this was the plan all along. Here's what really happened, and we all know it. WWE had no idea who the attacker was going to be when they filmed that initial attack. They booked the angle, got the viral moment they wanted, and then figured they'd work it out later. 3 months later, with fans demanding answers and the story going stale, they picked a name out of a hat, and poor Dominik drew the short straw. This is lazy storytelling at its absolute worst. This is what happens when you prioritize shock value over substance, when you create mysteries without answers, when you insult your audience's intelligence week after week after week. And let's talk about Triple H for a moment, shall we? The man who was supposed to be different. The cerebral assassin who promised us that under his creative leadership, WWE would be about long-term storytelling, sensible character development, and respecting the audience's investment. Remember all those interviews where he criticized the previous regime for their nonsensical booking? Remember when he said he would do better? Well, congratulations, Hunter. You played yourself. This Dominik reveal is exactly the kind of creative bankruptcy you claim to despise. This is the same short-sighted, let's just get to next week, booking that plagued WWE for years. Meeting the new boss, same as the old boss. The saddest part is the ripple effect this has on everything else. Now Dominik is supposed to be taken seriously as a major threat, but nobody's buying it because the foundation is built on quicksand. The victim is supposed to be seeking revenge, but it's hard to invest in that rivalry when the entire premise is so poorly constructed. And worst of all, we the audience are supposed to just accept this and move on like it makes perfect sense. But we're not going to do that, are we? Because we're not the mindless drones WWE sometimes seems to think we are. We notice plot holes. We recognize bad storytelling. We remember when we've been promised something meaningful and delivered something meaningless instead. What makes this even more frustrating is that Raw has been putting on some genuinely great content lately. The in-ring action has been phenomenal. Several storylines have been compelling and well executed. Ourselves into a shoot, or that we just don't understand the long-term plan. To those people, I ask, at what point do we hold WWE accountable for bad storytelling? At what point do we stop making excuses for creative decisions that insult our intelligence? If this was a TV show on Netflix, and they pulled something like this, it would get ripped apart by critics and audiences alike. But because it's wrestling, we're supposed to just accept it. That's nonsense. Wrestling is storytelling, and storytelling has rules, logic, and consequences when done poorly. The reveal of Dominik Mysterio as the mystery attacker isn't just disappointing, it's emblematic of everything wrong with modern WWE creative. It's a symptom of a larger disease where short-term thinking trumps long-term planning, where convenience beats coherence, and where the fans are the last thing anyone considers when making decisions. Triple H stood in that ring and unveiled the mystery attacker, and in doing so, he unveiled something else too, the harsh reality that WWE still doesn't get it. They still think we'll accept anything as long as it's delivered with enough pyrotechnics and dramatic music. But we won't. We deserve better. The performers deserve better. The business deserves better. So what happens now? Dominik Mysterio is our villain, whether we like it or not. WWE will push forward with this angle, probably adding some half-baked explanation about his motivations that makes even less sense than the reveal itself. And we're expected to just go along for the ride, pretending that the past 3 months of build-up led to a satisfying conclusion. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of pretending. I'm tired of making excuses for billion-dollar companies that can't be bothered to plan their storylines more than 2 weeks in advance. I'm tired of investing my time and emotional energy into mysteries that lead nowhere meaningful. This Dominik Mysterio reveal is a slap in the face to everyone who cares about professional wrestling as an art form. It's a middle finger to the fans who tune in week after week hoping for something special. And it's proof that despite all the promises and all the changes, some things at WWE remain frustratingly, disappointingly the same.